Do you know what the #1 job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job.
I never thought that we would see the day where Diddy would get arrested, and I told you guys in that Maria Z interview in 2021 that no one tells on Diddy. P. Diddy.
Katt Williams ain't laughing no more. This time, he's peeling back what Ally Carter didn't say about the Epstein files. Word is, truth she left out is way darker than what hit the headlines, and Katt's saying the names being protected matter more than the ones being exposed. If he's right, this whole Epstein drop might just have been a decoy. Y'all remember when Katt Williams was out here loud, telling anybody who listened that the truth was gonna spill and a lot of powerful folks was gonna get exposed. Back then, people laughed it off, said Katt was wildin', said he was bitter, chasing attention, or cracking them jokes.
All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
But now it's all starting to line up a little too clean. First, it was Diddy. For years, he moved untouchable, throwing those over-the-top parties, flexing power, silencing critics. Then shockingly, the lawsuits stacked up, the feds stepped in, and the same industry that protected him acted like they never knew him. Arrested, convicted, sentenced. That alone shook the room. And right when folks thought that was the peak of it, here comes the Epstein files. Let's be real for a second. The street's been asking about that list forever. People been screaming for transparency, demanding names, receipts. For years, it felt like the government was dragging its feet on purpose, slow-walking justice, protecting the elite. Then, finally, under pressure, the Department of Justice cracked the vault open back in January 2026. Millions of pages dumped, hundreds of thousands of images, videos, emails, logs, enough paperwork to make entire empires nervous.
Today, we are producing more than 3 million pages, including more than 2,000 videos and 180,000 images. In total, that means that the department produced approximately 3.5 million pages in compliance with the act.
But here's the part nobody can ignore. Even with all that dropped, a lot of names were still blacked out. Heavy redactions, big chunks missing. And that's where Ally Carter stepped into the conversation and made it uncomfortable all over again. Ally didn't sugarcoat it. She said flat out that the DOJ needs to do better. No selective transparency, no half-truths. If victims' names end up in them files, let it be known. And if powerful elites are tied to these crimes, let that be known too. No hiding behind status, protecting monsters just because they got money or influence. She even said something that shook people. She said if her own name shows up anywhere in those case files, don't redact it. Let it be public. Let the truth be whole.
Pam Bondi, this is my verbal contract with you. My name is Allison Leilani Ray Carter, and I give you full consent to unredact my name in any trafficking ledger that you find, especially to connect it to any of the islands. I volunteer for you to unredact my name and dig into my CPS files for CPS corruption out of Riverside County, California, Child Protective Services. Majority of the names that you'll find in my Child Protective Services file will also probably show up in the trafficking ledgers. Those ledgers are insanely detailed. I know some people don't even understand what a ledger means. It's what people are considering or calling the Epstein Black Book. That Black Book has information of when a child was sold, where, what outfit they had on, what time, where they came from, if they came from Child Protective Services custody, if they were a missing child, if they came from over the border, if the child is sick, how much exactly they were sold for. Everything is in those ledgers. We're doing a very good job protecting predators, and if you guys can please, I'm begging you to do a little bit of better of a job.
And if you've been paying attention, you already know Allie Carter's story ain't been pretty. She's had public breakdowns, emotional live streams, moments where folks wrote her off as unstable or desperate for attention. At first, the internet wasn't kind. People dismissed her, called her a clout chaser, said she was making things up for sympathy, but that tone changed when people actually listened. You can hear it in her voice, the pauses, the shaking, the way she struggles to even finish certain sentences. That ain't scripted, but trauma leaking out in real time. Allie has said repeatedly that her pain didn't start as an adult. According to her, it started when she was still a child. She claims the system that was supposed to protect her completely failed. Instead of safety, she says she was placed into environments where kids were treated like currency. According to her story, certain foster placements weren't about care. They were pipelines. Pipelines feeding children to powerful adults under the guise of influence, opportunity, or silence, allegedly.
Trafficking over the border was for who? Child Protective Services is your supplier. Is anybody gonna talk about that? The immigrants that are coming across the border, that all those kids that they were just scooping up out of boats and out of the water, they're now coming in and they're throwing them right into the system. Aurora, Colorado, Springfield, Ohio. Where do you think all those kids are going?
She says she wasn't invited to these spaces, but delivered underage, confused, terrified, surrounded by grown men with wealth and power she didn't even understand yet. She's talked about being moved from room to room and used as a party favor.
I was a party favor.
What does that mean?
I was a party favor. I was somebody you could take off the table.
So you're telling me they set
I set children on a table.
Like when you go to a birthday party and they have gift bags for everybody that comes that have candy and toys in them,
Yep.
and they set them on the table. So you're telling me at the freak off parties, they put children on the table instead of gift bags, and then people can do what?
Take you off the table.
And she wasn't alone. She's described other kids being there too. Frozen, quiet, watching adults laugh, drink, and treat abuse like entertainment. No dramatic flair when she tells it. Just broken pieces of memory spilling out. And whether someone believes every detail or not, one thing is obvious. She's describing something that shattered her sense of safety. And according to Allie, it didn't stop at emotional scars. She's hinted that she left those places carrying consequences that followed her long after the lights went out. Now, here's where the conversation gets even darker. Allie has been vocal about being present on Diddy's island. And Diddy and Epstein didn't just move in the same social circles. They were neighbors in cohorts, literally. Properties on the same island, same access to private air travel, and insulated environments where normal rules didn't apply.
But again, see, he's in cahoots with Epstein. And then
was he in cahoots with Epstein,
Yeah.
or was it just a similar type of an operation?
they were friends.
Really?
Yeah, because Epstein had on Miami as well, that really private, rich estate in Miami, so they were all in cahoots as well.
So the streets are now asking the obvious question: if kids were allegedly present on Diddy's island, could same kids also have been present on Epstein's island, especially when images from the Epstein files show young girls heavily redacted standing next to powerful men, faces blurred, names hidden, but the implication loud enough to make stomachs turn. That's when Prince Andrew came right back into the spotlight. British royalty, crown protection, and still couldn't outrun the smoke. That image of him caught in a situation so disturbing it doesn't even need words did more damage than any statement ever could. His ties to Epstein weren't rumors anymore. Private meetings, young girls, favors exchanged behind palace walls, and when the pressure got too heavy, the monarchy did what it always does. Cut him loose, titles gone, honors stripped, kicked out of royal housing. But let's keep it real, he wasn't the only one. There's Bill Gates. For years, his name floated around Epstein like background noise. He played it off as business dinners and charity talk. But documents suggest those ties didn't stop when Epstein got convicted. There are hints Epstein believed he had leverage on Bill, even medically. Allegations of quiet cover-ups, hush situations, things that don't line up with Bill's public image.
In one email, Epstein claimed he helped, quote, get drugs in order to deal with the consequences of sex with Russian girls and set up illicit trysts with married women. The email also references Gates asking Epstein to provide Adderall for bridge tournaments. One draft email alleges that Gates tearfully asked Epstein to delete messages referencing an STD, writing, "Your request that I provide you antibiotics that you surreptitiously give to Melinda." It also says Gates asked him to delete explicit personal details about his penis.
Of course, Bill denies it all, says he regrets ever knowing Epstein, claims he had no idea what Epstein was really about. Same script everybody runs.
Apparently, Jeffrey wrote an email to himself. That email was never sent. The email is, false. So I don't know what his thinking was there. It just reminds me, every minute I spent with him, I regret and I, apologize that I did that. It's factually true that I was only at dinners. I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
But his ex-wife, Melinda, didn't exactly co-sign that story. Her comments after the file release made it clear she was relieved to be out of that circle. And folks read that loud and clear. That didn't sound like ignorance, but like escape.
I mean, it's beyond heartbreaking, right? I remember being those ages those girls were. I remember my daughters being those ages, right? So, for me, it's personally hard whenever those details come up, right? Because, brings back memories of some very, very painful times in my marriage, but I have moved on from that. I purposely pushed it away and I moved on. I'm in a really unexpected, beautiful place in my life. So whatever questions remain there of what I can't even begin to know all of it, those questions are for those people and for even my ex-husband. They need to answer to those things, not me. Well, and I am so happy to be away from all the muck that was there.
Then you got Elon Musk. Emails surfacing allegedly show Epstein inviting him to island events, even asking about travel.
Elon Musk's name has appeared in files relating to Jeffrey Epstein, with reference to him potentially visiting the island that Epstein owned.
Next up, Naomi Campbell. Her name been tied to Epstein for years. Allegations say she wasn't just attending events. She was allegedly helping recruit, promising modeling opportunities, moving like a gatekeeper, similar to how Ghislaine Maxwell operated. Naomi denies knowing anything about underage activity, but critics say her stories don't sit right.
The paper does manage to make it clear that you were not aware of Epstein activities. Did you know who he was?
Yes, I knew him. I was introduced to him on my 31st birthday by my ex-boyfriend Flavio. He was always front and center at Victoria's Secret shows.
Did you suspect what he was doing?
No. And what he's done is indefensible. And when I heard of what he'd done, it sickened me to my stomach, just like everybody else.
And her ties to Diddy only add fuel. Rumors say Diddy and Naomi were close in the early 2000s and allegedly dated. She popped up at his wild events, then suddenly wiped him from her socials once his scandals hit. Folks still remember Diddy flying to London just to surprise Naomi with a cake, celebrating her doctorate. That kind of closeness don't disappear overnight. Then there's Donald Trump. Trump ran in the same wealthy circles as Epstein. That's documented. During his campaign, releasing the Epstein list was one of the talking points. Elon even hyped it up.
I think part of why Kamala is getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public.
Yes.
And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
If you were president, would you declassify, you can answer yes or no to these, would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would, or at least
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others.
Then, once elected, silence. Over a year passed, no list, transparency. People started saying Trump was working behind the scenes, scrubbing his name. Now the files drop and Trump's connections look minimal, and the streets ain't buying it. Too clean, light, folks watching how he dodges questions, tells people to move on. Forget Epstein, forget the crimes. That just made people more suspicious.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. I think it's really time for the country to get onto something else, really. Now that nothing came out about me, other than it was a conspiracy against me, literally, by Epstein and other people. But I think it's time now for the country to maybe get onto something else.
Then there's Bill Clinton. His connection to Epstein is old news, but still heavy. Flights, photos, meetings. Even after Epstein's conviction, Clinton denies knowing anything illegal, says he cut ties years ago, but investigators' files include images Epstein kept of Clinton and messages from the public asking why Clinton was never fully investigated. And let's not forget Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York. She publicly apologized for letting Epstein pay off debts, promised to cut ties, then quietly emailed him asking for advice on how to handle press questions. That alone says a lot. So now the question ain't just about individual names. It's about the system. Why were some names exposed while others stayed hidden? Why are some files still redacted? Who decided which elites get sacrificed and which stay protected? And if Katt Williams was right from the jump, if Ally Carter is telling even part of the truth, how deep does this really go? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story ain't done yet. And click on this next video. It's just as crazy.